All right, Shalom. First, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. Hey, man, I got some real interesting information here that you're gonna want to hear this. All right, this is an article that I saw last night. Actually, it says U.S. prepares to arrest thousands of immigrant family members. All right, basically they're conducting a nationwide raid. All right. It says this was what, July 11th, which is it's today. This article on New York Times was published today. All right, but the notification I got last night, it says here an immigrations and customs enforcement agent as deportations were being carried out. Oh, okay, that's just a picture. It says nationwide raids to arrest thousands of members of undocumented families have been scheduled to begin Sunday, according to two current or one former Homeland Security officials. Moving forward with rapidly changing operation, the final details of which remain in flux. Now, before I keep going, man, listen, they are using this, all right, to fully establish and instill the FEMA camps, okay, that is in Rex 84, all right, readiness exercise 84, man, okay. This is the beginning, all right, of them releasing to the public and fully establishing them FEMA camps, okay, because the reason or the guise for Rex 84 was this specific kind of reason, all right, this specific kind of situation, all right. So I'm gonna read a quick portion from the Rex 84 blueprint, all right, and then I'm gonna keep reading the article, all right. Oh boy. Okay, so just getting to the point here, it says the plan is called Rex 84, short for Readiness Exercise 1984. Through Rex 84, an undisclosed number of concentration camps were set in operation throughout the United States for internment of dissidents and others potentially harmful to the state. All right, and who is that going to start with? These immigrants. Okay, I looked up the word dissident. It says a person who opposes official policy. Okay, and isn't Trump pushing that? That these illegal immigrants are what, quote unquote, illegal. So they're opposing official policy. It says especially that of an authoritarian state. Okay, and that's what they consider. All right, these immigrants. Now check this. I'm gonna keep reading. It says the operation backed by President Trump has been postponed, partly because of resistance among officials at his own immigration agency. The raids, which will be conducted by Immigrations and Customs Enforcement over multiple days, which soon they're just gonna hand it over to FEMA. Okay, they know the whole ICE thing. They're just gonna hand it over to FEMA because ICE doesn't have enough power to conduct the necessary or take the necessary precautions needed for them to actually start rounding people up. Okay, they can detain them, that's their plan. Now, just keep listening and you see how they try to shoot or twist the plot deploy. It says enforcement over multiple days will include collateral deportations, according to the officials who spoke on the condition of anonymity anonymity because of the preliminary stage of the operation. In those deportations, the authorities might detain immigrants who happen to be on the scene, even though they were not targets of the raids. All right. It says when possible family members who are arrested together will be held in family detention centers, all right, in Texas and Pennsylvania. Now, where are these detention centers coming from? Why was there no information on them building these detention centers? All right, because they were already built and they were set. All right, they were already built and set. All right, it says here. Look at that. The Rex 84 program was originally established on the reasoning. Now, this was in 1984. That if a mass exodus of illegal aliens crossed the Mexican/U.S. border, they would be quickly rounded up and detained in detention centers by FEMA. What did we just read in the article? When possible, family members who are arrested together will be held in family detention centers in Texas and Pennsylvania. Going back to Rex 84, 1984. We're in what? 2019. All right. If a mass exodus, which we see happening, of illegal aliens cross the U.S. Mexican border, they would be quickly rounded up and detained in detention centers. So you see how they're starting with ICE, but they're going to shift it to FEMA. This is so they can instill that institution of having detention centers. And then what they're going to do after that is when they declare martial law, these centers are already there. So it's not going to be just for immigrants. It's going to be for you regular civilians too. All right? They're going to be tossing your asses into them FEMA camps as well. The same exact way. It says nationwide raids. How many times have we told you, hey man, they're gonna start coming in? They're not even gonna come in the daytime because they, as the article says, people are now being aware, finding different ways on how to escape or avoid getting caught by ICE. So what do? Now they're gonna start coming to your doors at 4 a.m., kicking that joint down, all right, and just rounding your ass up because you're not gonna be expecting them at 4 a.m. Okay, boy. It says, but because of space limitations, some might end up staying in hotel rooms until their travel documents can be prepared. Now, that's just a little toss in there to make it sound like, oh, it's not so bad. They don't have a problem with space, all right? Because when you read and hear, where is it at? Oh, okay. So I read it again. It says, the plan is called Rex 84, short for Readiness Exercise 1984. Through Rex 84, an undisclosed number of concentration camps were set in operation throughout the United States. So that whole thing about space limitations, that's all BS. They have more than enough space. They've closed down old military bases. All right. They've closed down Walmarts. They've turned all these different things into FEMA camps. And this is the beginning. That's why they're calling it detention centers. They're having ICE in charge of it. But then they're going to push the claim that we can't just deport them because that's going to be separating families. So what? Let's round up the family whole and keep them in the detention center. We already see what's going on there now. They're not giving them proper care. Okay? So what happens when they start rounding them up in masses? You think they're going to have enough time to give each and every one of them families a proper care? No, they're just going to toss you in there. And you see these in a lot of these movies and a lot of these post military state movies where they have people caught in FEMA camps. Usually it starts with the so-called illegal immigrants. Okay? And then it's going to shift over to you American people. But in order for them to start it, they have to push at an angle. They need a reason to bring this to light that, yeah, we have detention centers where we're going to keep these immigrants. So it says, ICE's goal is to deport the families as quick as possible. That's a lie. The officials said ICE agents were targeting at least 2,000 immigrants who have been ordered deported, some as a result of their failure to appear in court, but who remain in the country illegally. The operation is expected to take place in at least 10 major cities. They're basically going to run down, all right, and round you people up, okay? And they said if they see immigrants on the scene, even if you're not the target, if you're an immigrant, they're going to get your ass too, okay? They're going to find out if you quote-unquote belong here or not. It says the families being targeted crossed the border recently. The Trump administration expedited their immigration proceedings last fall. In February, many of those immigrants were given notice to report to an ICE office and leave the United States, the Homeland Security official said. Matthew Burke, an ICE spokesman, now it gets more interesting as I keep going, said in a statement on Wednesday that the agency would not comment on specific details related to enforcement operations to ensure the safety and security of agency personnel. All right? Enforcement operations, they're not going to announce specific details because they know if they did, all right, it would cause panic. It would cause uproars because you have people who are friends of immigrants, who are family members of illegal immigrants that will stand up for them, all right, which can cause uproars. Now, what happens when they're rounding up an illegal immigrant and then you have somebody who's not an illegal immigrant like, nah, you bugging, resisting? They might just take him too and throw that person also in them detention centers. Hey, martial law is coming, man. It's coming. It says the threat of deportation has rattled immigrant communities. Now, check this out. Has rattled immigrant communities across the country, prompted backlash from local politicians and police officials, and stoked division inside the Department of Homeland Security. So that's why they're not going to use people who are already familiar and live here and work. No, no, no. They're going to use foreign troops because and those dudes who have had MK Ultra on them, so that way they're not having backlash and all of these division and stuff like that. No, all right, ICE ain't gonna be there forever, man. They're gonna upgrade, ICE 2.0, okay, and they're gonna come looking something like that. All right, it says the Trump administration's goal is to use the operation as a show of force to deter families from approaching the southwest border, the official said. Agents have expressed apprehensions. Hey man, and it's just crazy how it literally said, all right, that the reason they came up with this Rex 84, all right, was literally for the situation which we're having right now. I'm gonna read it again. The Rex 84 program was originally established on the reasoning that if a mass exodus of illegal aliens crossed the Mexican-U.S. border, they would be quickly rounded up and detained in detention centers by FEMA. We see that that's what they're about to do. Okay? That is what they're about to do, man. It says these camps are to be operated by FEMA should martial law need to be implemented in the United States. Okay? So right now it's in the hands of ICE, okay, and all that. But once they declare martial law, enough with that. Now they're gonna have the quote unquote big boys take place. You're gonna have FEMA step in. All right. FEMA's not here for your good, man. It says and it would take and all it would take is a presidential signature on a proclamation and the attorney general's signature on a warrant to which a list of names is attached. Okay. Now I'm not gonna read this whole thing, but there's certain parts of it that I'm definitely gonna read. All right. It's very interesting. But let me finish this article. Okay, it says agents have expressed apprehensions about arresting babies and young children. Officials have said. You see, so now they're seeing that all right, we're having a problem, but our agents are not able to fully do what they got to do because you got people getting emotional. That's why they're gonna use troops who are specifically designed to shut away their emotions. You see, arresting babies and young children, no problem. That's the mindset they're going to come with. It says the agents have also noted that the operation might have limited success because word has already spread among immigrant communities about how to avoid arrest, namely by refusing to open the door when an agent approaches one's home. ICE agents are not legally allowed to forcibly enter a home. So what are they going to do? They're going to find a way to either give them more power or find a way to where they can maneuver around a situation like this. And that's the only possible way is them enacting that martial law, all right? Being in that military state where your rights, no more. So this kicking down the door and they don't have the power, all that's going down the drain, man. It says immigration defense lawyers are likely to file motions to reopen the family's immigration cases, which would significantly delay, if not stop altogether, their removal from the United States. For weeks last month, the ICE director at the time, Mark Morgan, signaled that agents would escalate efforts to round up families. Days before the operation was to begin, Mr. Trump forecast the plan on Twitter, blindsiding ICE agents whose safety officials feared would be compromised as a result. In early June, the Department of Homeland Security's acting secretary Kevin K. McAleenan told Mr. Morgan to call off the operation. Mr. McAleenan did not support the raids, officials said at the time, in part out of concern that undocumented parents could be separated from any of their children who are American citizens. So now instead of what? Instead of separating them and deporting them, let's just detain them all together. Okay? They say you want to stay with your mommy and daddy? Well, you got to go with them to the camp because that's where they're going to be staying. All right? It says Mr. Morgan then directly lobbied Mr. Trump to move forward with the raids. He is now the Commissioner of Customs and Border Protection, another arm of the Department of Homeland Security, which they bought a lot of hollow tip bullets a couple years ago. In a tense meeting with White House officials on June 21st, 2 days before the raids were scheduled to begin, Mr. McAleenan again outlined the challenges of the operation, including the separation of families and the logistics of housing them until they can be removed. If undocumented parents are found to have children who are United States citizens, for example, ICE agents will need to wait with the children in a hotel room until a relative of the United States can claim them. Homeland Security officials also worried that many of the families that the administration had hoped to detain might have left the addresses known to ICE after Trump tweeted the agency's plans. See? So now now we're not announcing anything. Now we're just gonna come in like a thief in the night, all right, and we're gonna round you up when you least expect it. And best believe look, man, people are not gonna sit there silently and let this go. All right, they start doing this, people are gonna uproar. All right, and we're already in a national emergency. But them FEMA camps, man, let's keep going. It says Speaker Nancy Pelosi called Mr. Trump after his tweet and urged him to halt the operation. Which in a statement hours later she described as heartless. Mr. Trump then tweeted that he would delay the effort at the Democrats' request, but he also threatened to resume the deportations if Democrats refused to join with Republican lawmakers to work out a solution to the asylum and loophole problems at the southern border. All right, now, back in here in the Rex 84. All right, seeing how parallel they are, it says mindful of 2004. There are over 800 prison camps in the United States. But they're not going to come out and call them prison camps. Come on, are you crazy? They're going to call them detention centers. Okay? Are they going to... Now, let's see how those detention centers look. All fully operational and ready to receive prisoners or immigrants. All right? They are all staffed and even surrounded by full-time guards. So who you think is going to be allowed to go in there to record what's really going in there and bring it out? Nah, my man. But they are all empty. See? So they're ready. All right? They're fully staffed and operational. Damn, this stupid helicopter's annoying. Fully staffed and operational and everything. All right? But what are they waiting for? Now they're waiting for the people. Okay? All they need is to start the operation. Okay, and man, you're gonna see it in action, man. You're gonna see FEMA camps and concentration camps in action. Okay, we speak about these things, but it's happening, man. These camps are to be operated by FEMA should martial law need to be implemented in the United States. I read this part, and all it would take is a presidential signature on a proclamation and the attorney general's signature on a warrant with a list of names attached. The Res 84 program was established on the reasoning that if a mass exodus of illegal aliens crossed the U.S.-Mexican border, they would be quickly rounded up and detained in detention centers by FEMA. Rex 84 allowed many military bases to be closed down and to be turned into prisons. Now, this is something that is in place. All right? Operation Cable Splicer and Garden Plot are two sub-programs which will be implemented once the Rex 84 program is initiated for its proper purpose. Garden plot is the program to control the population. Cable splicer is the program for an orderly takeover of the state and local governments by the federal governments. So that way you can avoid this. Where's it at? You can avoid this. See, it says what? The threat of deportation has rattled immigrant communities across the country, prompted backlash from local politicians. Right? Did we not just read that it's to take control over local governments, local and state governments? Because you're getting backlash from local politicians and police officials. All right, and it's stoking divisions in the Department of Homeland Security. So now, all right, that's why they're gonna have that cable splicer in place to take over that. So you ain't having the state and local governments don't get a say. FEMA, all right, federal, FEMA is the executive arm of the coming police state, and thus will head up all operations. The presidential executive orders already listed on the Federal Register also are part of the legal framework for this operation. The camps all have railroad facilities as well as roads leading to and from the detention facilities. All this road work you see going on, underground, you know, everywhere you go, there's construction here, construction there, construction here. What do you think all that is for? You know, that's why they kept emphasizing these illegal immigrants. These immigrants, they're dangerous. They're what? They're dissident. All right. It's all in plot for this, man. They didn't just create Rex 84 for no reason. All right. It says here, many also have an airport nearby. The majority of the camps can house a population of 20,000 prisoners. All right. And, well, that's why they have so many of those camps because, what was it? Where's the number? It says here, migrants crossing have declined since May when 144,000 spiritual, 200 migrants. Now, they added that 200 because when the article first came out, it was just 144,000, you know, which that's very spiritual. All right. He that hath ears to hear. All right. Migrants were taken into custody at the southern border. All right. That's a 13-year high. Okay. So it says each majority of the camps can house a population of 20,000. Well, they got hundreds of camps. So don't worry about that. Currently, the largest of these facilities is just outside of Fairbanks, Alaska. The Alaskan facility is a massive mental health facility and can hold thousands of people. Okay, this is Rex 84, man, and this is what they're getting ready to enact. Okay, they're gonna start with these immigrants, but you best believe you can hear the parallel between the two of them. All right, just instead of FEMA, they're starting with ICE. Okay, it's happening, man. It's happening. So, Lord, this is edifying to the elect. Call Allah Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai and Shalom.